name is McKallip, and today I'll be talking to you about sound design, as Mr. Costa said. Sound design is the editing, mixing, and processing of sound so as to improve it. Sound design is important to producers of music, film, and video. There are 9 main concepts, principles of sound design. There's actually 2 more, but those are unimportant. The first of which is pitch. Pitch is how high or low the sound is. And there are high sounds like this. Mid-tone sounds like this. And low-pitch sounds like this. Now, each of these pitches has a different quality or property to it. High-pitch sounds give vibrance and energy to a song. Mid-tone sounds are the body, the flesh and bone of a song, while deep sounds, the bass, give power and oomph to sound. The funny thing about these pitches is that mid-tone sounds are the easiest sounds to hear. High-pitched and low-pitched sounds are at the ends of a human hearing range, which makes it so that they're harder and harder to hear. There's a reason why there's such a thing as a bass boost. The next property is harmonics and timbre. These are 2 difficult concepts to separate, but the key difference is that harmonics is how an object sounds, like how it will sound, while timbre is the actual sound itself. Think the difference between an instrument and a song. The harmonics of objects differ. Crystal glass, for example, sounds better than regular glass. Very pretty, right? And the same thing you see in instruments. Steel string guitars, for example, are very metallic and have a high sound even when they're playing a low note. While nylon string guitars, on the other hand, are are more organic and sound more like a harp being plucked. I don't know. And the next concept is timbre. Timbre is, as I said before, how something sounds, the various properties it has. The voice has its own, each person's voice has its own special timbre. This is what separates it from another person's voice. It's its identity. To show you this, I will play the sound of an electric guitar. Now, you can hear a bit of fuzz to it. That's a distortion that's being applied. That makes it warm and dirty. You can also hear how it lasts a little while after the note is being finished played. And you may not notice it, but there is a bit of a metallic sound to it, even though that's hidden under layers of distortion. Now, the next property is loudness. This is a fairly self-explanatory property. It's the volume or amplitude of the sound. The important thing to know about loudness is that it's a relative property. If you make everything in a sound loud, you can't say it's a loud song. After all, you just change the volume. What you need to do is to contrast parts of the song, make parts of them quiet, parts of them loud, to be able to say, yes, this is a loud song. There's this concept in sound engineering known as dynamic range. Dynamic range is the difference in loudness between different parts of a song. There's a technique taught to engineers called compression. You make all parts of the song sound about as equally loud as each other. There's some benefits to it, but not many. There's another important property to loudness: foregrounds and backgrounds. Foreground is the main part of the sound. That's the part you're supposed to listen to. Backgrounds are, well, backgrounds. You're not supposed to hear them so much as to just quietly let them sit there. The thing is, backgrounds should always be quieter than the foreground. Otherwise, you can't hear what's being said. To give you an example of this, I stitched together a BBC News report with the sounds of a highway and when done badly, it sounds a little bit like this. Can you hear it in the news report? Can you? That's enough of that. Now, with a quiet background,
broadcasting house in the heart of central London. It begins with GMT.
You can hear what's being said,
minutes,
but you can hear a little bit of a car going around, going by. The next property is rhythm. Rhythm is the beat, tempo, or pattern in the sound clip. Music obviously has a rhythm, but so do the speech and sound effects. Music normally happens to have a drum beat. Something like that. But so does speech, as it turns out. Speech, according to scientists, happens to have, varies from person to person, happens to have different inflections and cadences depending on where you were raised and how you speak. This is what makes a human voice sound human. Now, what happens when you mess with that is it sounds very unnatural.
But Marty, how was your day?
That's the reason why text-to-voice always sounds a bit strange. The words are just chopped together. Not very nice. This also applies to sound effects. Marching, for example, is pretty simple. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. But if it doesn't have a rhythm to it, it just sounds like somebody digging up dirt. So the next concept I'll talk to you about is the envelope of sound. It's a bigger concept, but in it are three different properties. First is attack. Attack is how much time it takes for a sound to reach its peak, or to put it into simpler terms, how sharp or soft the sound is. You can have quick attack, like thunderclaps. Sharp attacks are, well, sharp, and they also are good for surprising people. They have a good hit to them. While, on the other hand, a reverse symbol has a very slow attack. The sound clip isn't playing. It slowly will build up, which is good for suspense, or in case you want to draw the sound immediately. The next concept is sustain. Sustain is how long the sound will last after you stop playing the instrument, but the instrument is still making sound. Electric guitars have very long sustain. You can hear it lasting for a good period of time. Could have gone even longer. The next concept is decay. Decay is what happens after the sustain is over, when the instrument stops making noise. In indoors, decay is short. Decay does not last very long because, well, the walls of the room absorb the sound. However, outdoors, decay is much longer. The sound echoes, there's no walls to absorb it. It'll naturally last much longer. The final concept I want to talk to you about is speed. Speed is how fast the sound is being played back. You can change the properties of a sound clip by changing its speed. If I say, sped up my voice, I would sound like a chipmunk. And if I slowed it down, it would sound deep and monstrous. You You can also apply this to other sound effects to make them sound like entirely different things. For example, this was originally a crash, but now it sounds like a bit like a gunshot. Now, sound design isn't exactly rules so much as principles that are meant to improve sound. They're just tools. After all, the main reason why you have sound design is just to make things sound better. Now, this may not seem useful to all of you, but in case any of you want to become sound engineers or musicians, you should read up about these things. Thanks for listening.
All right. Nice. So tell me, how in the world did you learn so much about sound design?
I just searched it on Google, and then there was a good website. Probably.
And where does this passion come from?
I just like learning about music, and then sound design is important part of it. I kind of want to produce music a bit. I don't think anything's going to it, but well, it's something.
Good, thank you, Robert.